Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. Today I'm going to give you guys my performance review on the Jordan Luka 4s. This is Luka's fourth signature shoe with Jordan, and as far as the Luka 3s were concerned, it was a very underrated shoe last year. It had very nice traction, really good cushioning with a nice bouncy feel, and it was very comfortable to say the least. Materials were nice and comfortable as well, and it had really good lockdown and support at a very budget price at $130. As of right now, they're going for around $80 to $90. So if you guys are interested, I will leave a link in the description box below. And if you want to see my review to the Luka 3s, I will leave a little link on the top of the screen right here if you guys are interested. And as far as the pricing for the Luka 4s go, they are going for the same price at $130. So if you guys are interested in the Luka 4s, they're available right now on Nike.com, and I will leave a link down below in the description box as well. Now, as far as the Tryon goes, it was very easy to say the least. I didn't even have to open up the laces, and the tongue, since it is an independent tongue, it has a lot of flexibility. That way you can open it up as wide as you can. So it is very easy to put on and very easy to take off at the same time. So it was a very easy process when it comes to putting the shoe on, in my experience. For sizing, I would go true to size. However, it is a relaxed fit, so you are going to have like a roomy fit, but it is nice and conformed around your foot when it comes to the overall shape of the shoe. The length is pretty good, and it goes straight directly up into the toe box, so you aren't going to have any dead space here in the toe box. And you do get a nice conformed width, but mind you, it is a little bit on the forgiving side. So if you want a relaxed fit, I would go true to size. If you want a performance fit, I would probably go down half a size. For narrow footers, you should probably do the same. Going down a half size should be fine for you guys. And for wide footers, you should be fine going true to size because of the relaxed fit that you're going to get in this shoe. So as far as the overall sizing is concerned, it's pretty much one-to-one, but it is a relaxed fit at the end of the day. Now, for the traction setup itself, you're going to get a full-length translucent outsole with a radial-shaped herringbone traction pattern that starts in the midfoot and radializes through the forefoot and into the back half of the shoe. And as far as how it grips, it has a pretty solid bite on a clean court. When it came to lateral movements, it was really grippy going side to side, and it felt really good when it came to step backs as well. So that was a good sign when it comes to lateral movements especially. And for vertical movements, hard stops felt really good, and it also has good push-offs as well when you need to get like a quick first step. That way you can accelerate as fast as possible on your first step. On dusty courts, it picks up some dust, but it somehow manages to perform with a little bit of sliding here and there when it comes to lateral and vertical movements. So as long as you wipe it down, it doesn't necessarily pick up a lot of dust. As long as you wipe it every now and then, you should be fine, which is an improvement to the Luka 3s where it picked up dust wherever it was. And it was quite annoying to deal with, and it was very high maintenance when it comes to wiping them off and cleaning them afterwards because it gets a little dirty as well. For durability, it is pretty good as well. There were very little signs of wear with a little bit of fraying in the higher areas, and that's necessarily about it when it comes to the wear itself. The grooves themselves are very hard when it comes to the rubber itself, and it has a nice thickness to it. So as far as outdoors is concerned, you should be good to go because of the hard rubber and the decent chunky tread that you're going to get. So in terms of traction itself, it is a definite improvement to the Luka 3s in my opinion, especially with the grip, with a little bit more consistency, and much better when it comes to picking up dust with a little bit every now and then, and the durability is pretty good too. Now for the cushioning setup itself, you're going to get this full-length Cushland 3.0 midsole, and when you look at the bottom of the shoe, you're going to get a small rectangular bottom-loaded air zoom unit as well as an integrated iso plate here in the forefoot. And as far as how it feels in the forefoot, it has a very nice responsive feel. Because of the iso plate, it gives it a nice lively reaction under your foot, with the Cushland 3.0 being a nice bouncy foam as well. So the combination of those two, it has a really nice bounce as well with the iso plate and the Cushland foam itself, and you get an extra amount of liveliness with the air zoom unit itself. It is small, but it does its job when it comes to the responsive feel, and is an improvement to the Luka 3s in my opinion, where it was just the iso plate and the Cushland foam itself. When you move it to the heel, it is amazingly soft and plush, and every time I use it, it feels like I'm landing on a pillow, and it's like really nice and mushy, but not to the point where it's like a little bit too mushy, but it still has a nice give. That way it is nice and compressible in the heel, really nice compression in the heel, and as a result the impact protection was really good as well. The only issue I have with Cushland is that once you keep using it over time, it will start to bottom out, and you can see it with the creasing that you get with the exposed foam itself. So the more you use it, the more it's going to bottom out and it won't feel as comfortable. So it is like the Dame 9s, but it manages to be not as mushy mushy as the Dame 9s, so it will probably hold up a little more over time compared to the Dame 9s in my opinion. And as a result of the forgiveness of the cushioning, the fluidity is very smooth when it comes to the heel to toe transitions, probably the smoothest that I have felt in a while. So it is very smooth, just like the Luka 3s, mind you, so it has a nice heel to toe transition, and with the Cushlon, it gives you enough of a snappy feel, and with the ISO plate and zoom unit in the forefoot, it gives you a nice accelerative boost when you're trying to go up and down the court. So cushioning itself is very comfortable the moment you put them on, basically, and it feels pretty responsive and bouncy with the ISO plate as well as the zoom unit that you get in the forefoot. Now, diving into the materials, it is a much simplified version of the Luka 4s in my opinion, where you get textile mesh here in the forefoot with a little bit of stitching here as well, and it continues on into the lateral side of the shoe, and you also get more of it in the medial side of the shoe as well, with a little bit of glossy leather here in the back and this foam padded heel that you get as well. The tongue itself is an independent tongue, and it is made out of mesh as well, with some decent padding here on the top of the tongue, and decent padding here around the ankle area, and a good bit of padding here in the heel area as well. And as far as how they feel, they are very comfortable and quite relaxing on foot, and I didn't really have to break them in because the textile mesh is very flexible the moment you put it on, so you didn't have to break them in that much. The padding on the tongue feels good, but not as dense as in the Luka 3s, where there was like a good bit of neoprene padding that was on there, which was nice and bear hugging. This is a little bit more minimalistic, but it feels nice and comfortable around the midfoot, and I didn't experience any lace irritation here in the midfoot. And in the heel, it is nicely padded here in the ankle area and in the heel. Not as much as in the Luka 3s, but it is pretty comfortable nonetheless, so I didn't have any issues, and it was a very comfortable experience at the end of the day. Aesthetically, they look nice in this green colorway. The overall aesthetic is much more simplistic compared to the Luka 3s in my opinion, so I do like the Luka 3s a little bit more when it comes to the looks, but these look pretty nice nonetheless, and I like how the material blends with the ISO plate that you get here on the lateral side of the shoe. Luka's number poking out in the midsole is a pretty nice touch, along with the foam pad that you get with the stars as well, and you also get a compass on the bottom of the shoe. So it is a pretty simplistic shoe, but I do prefer the looks of the Luka 3s a little bit more. But these look pretty nice nonetheless. And with the textile mesh material that you get and the flexibility and padding that you get from the shoe itself, it is a nice cozy feel as well. So at the end of the day, very cozy materials, and they don't look too bad either. Now, moving into lockdown, this is where I came across a couple of issues when I was playing in these. In the forefoot, because of the relaxed fit and the stretchy materials that you get, it allows you to slide a good bit in the footbed, especially when it comes to lateral movements. I felt I was sliding in the footbed, and it was kind of an issue when I was playing. And as I was stopping on hard stops, it did stub my toe a little bit, so that was kind of uncomfortable when I was playing in these. However, with a quick adjustment, I tried double socking, and it improved the fit a little bit more. That way it's like more snug here in the forefoot, and I didn't experience that much sliding when it came down to it. So if you have a relaxed fit in these and you are sliding around, double socking is probably the best option for you if you want like a nice a more snug fit in the forefoot. So if you double sock it, the relaxed fit is going to be a little bit more snug here in the forefoot, and you won't experience that much sliding laterally and vertically. And as you move into the midfoot, the lacing system is pretty basic. It is integrated with the materials itself, and it gives you a nice wrap around your foot, so I didn't have any issues when it came to the midfoot lockdown. And as you move into the heel, very little heel slippage due to the sculpted padding that you get. And as you continue to break in the padding, it starts to mold around your foot. That way you won't experience that much heel slippage. So as far as heel slippage is concerned, it is very little. So at the end of the day, lockdown to me is good aside from the sliding in the footbed. But if you double sock them in the forefoot, it is a nice improvement when it comes to the lockdown here in the forefoot, and the rest of the shoe just does the rest of the work for you. So as long as you double sock it, the lockdown in the shoe is very good. And last but not least, when it comes to support, it does a good job when it comes to the support of the shoe itself. But in the long run, it might get progressively worse, which I will explain in a second. Firstly, for the lateral support, you're basically cradled within the midsole itself throughout the shoe. So you're going to have some nice containment inside the shoe because of you being cradled with the midsole itself. On the outside, you do get this little protruding outrigger along with the isoplate that wraps into the midsole a little bit. And the isoplate extends into the midfoot and a little bit into the heel, along with a pretty basic internal heel counter here in the back. So you're going to have some pretty solid lateral stabilization stabilizers to give you really nice support when it comes to lateral movements. For torsional support, it is very stable in the forefoot because of the isoplate that you get here in the forefoot, but in the back half there really isn't that much, so it could be a little unstable at times when it comes to the back half of the shoe, since there is no shank in the midfoot to balance it out. So while it is very stable here in the forefoot, and it's also aided by a very wide and flat base in the forefoot, so you're going to have some pretty nice stability here in the forefoot, but it does get quite narrow here in the heel, which can lead to the shoe being a little unstable in the heel at times. So, and as the cushion breaks in, because of how forgiving the Cushlon foam is, it will become more unstable because of the exposed Cushlon that you're going to get. So over time, the back half of the shoe is going to become a little bit more unstable for you, with the most of the support coming from the forefoot area with the isoplate, mainly isolated in the forefoot. So you're going to have support in the forefoot, but not a lot of support here on the back. So for what it's worth, support does a good job for the most part with very good stability on the forefoot, but in the heel it is a little unstable at times, which can get progressively worse as you break in the Cushlon foam in the back. So to sum it up for you guys, the Luka 4s are a definite improvement to the Luka 3s when it comes to overall performance, in my opinion. The traction has pretty solid bite, and it doesn't pick up as much dust and is a little bit more durable compared to the 3s, where it picked up a lot of dust. So it is more consistent and doesn't pick up that much dust compared to the Luka 3s. And the cushioning is overall a more lively experience with the zoom unit that you get, as well as the isoplate, whereas in the 3s there was just Cushlon foam with the isoplate to give you the amount of response. But the cushion in this is a little bit more responsive and a little bit bouncy compared to the Luka 3s. So in those two aspects, it is a very good performer compared to the Luka 3s. Materials are a little bit more simplistic in the 4s, but they feel comfortable nonetheless. Lockdown is pretty good, but the support is suspect, and as you break it in over time, it will slowly degrade. And the Luka 3s, I found them to be a little more supportive. So if you want a more supportive shoe compared to the 4s and the 3s, I will go with the 3s. But if you want more performance, the traction and cushioning is a little bit better in my opinion compared to the Luka 3s, with more consistency in the traction and a little bit better grip and a little bit more lively, responsive, bouncy feel in the forefoot compared to the 4s and the 3s as well. So performance wise, I would go with the 4s. If you want more support, I would go with the 3s in my opinion. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been my performance review on the Jordan Luka 4s. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment down below on what you think of the Luka 4s. Have you tried them out for yourselves? Are they better than the Luka 3s, or are the Luka 3s better than the 4s? I'd like to know your thoughts, as well as any other questions that you might have. If you'd like to stay up to date with future videos that I'll be posting, hit the subscribe button down below, and it'll greatly support the channel as well. If you'd like to see my review, again, for the Luka 3s, I'll leave it on the corner of the screen right here. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, all of that information will be in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys, and until next time, keep shooting.